Hello there, I'm Jim Hawkins from SkidCarUK. I'm the senior partner at SkidCarUK and the adverse driving consultant. What we're doing here today is showing people what happens if we simulate different road conditions. That's all SkidCar does really, it just simulates the road conditions. Then it's up to the driver to see whether he can drive or she can drive on those conditions. What happens when people arrive is we give them a full safety brief, let them know what the device does, how it works, etc., and go through the emergency procedures if something unlikely should go wrong, how we can prevent and can control the car virtually in an instant. What it is it's a frame that runs right the way underneath the car. If you look underneath, you'll actually see a lot of people call it a cradle. I don't like calling it a cradle because that sort of lulls you into full sense of security. But it runs right the way along the whole length of the car, and it's bolted onto the car at the suspension points. And the reason for that is so that it will rock from side to side and pitch backwards and forwards, so you get a full sensation. Project is this little handheld computer here. And what I'll do now is I'll switch it on, and it always goes through a self-test. So it'll do the self-test now, and what you'll see is the front wheels will come up. Once it's happy with the front, then the back wheels will come up. And you'll also hear the motor roaring away in the back there. Now, I won't tell you what number it's on. I will say to you, right, we're now driving on a wet road, or driving on ice, etc., etc. And you just drive the way you want, or the way I ask you to drive, and we just see what's happened. No. What we're going to do is we're going to teach you what happens before a skid and how to put that right. Because you think about a car going in a dead straight line, it can go as fast as it likes. Yeah. Once you turn a wheel, forces start to act on the car. If you let those forces carry on, you may have heard the terms on racing programs, it will then understeer or oversteer. If you let that understeer or oversteer carry on, it will then rear wheel or front wheel skid or four wheel skid. If you then let that carry on, it loses control. If you lose control of a car, you're going to kill yourself, or you're going to damage the car and damage people inside it and damage people around you. So what we like to do is to teach you what understeer and oversteer is and how to put that right. Because if you can put that right quickly enough, you won't skid and you'll never lose control and kill yourself. That's the philosophy behind SkidCar. First thing we do with any of our clients is prove to them that it's the driver that loses control of the car. If I ask anybody what's the problem, why does a car skid, they'll probably say mud on the road, ice, slippery road, oil, etc. But it's not. It's always, or 90% of the time, it's down to the driver. And our first exercise shows how that is the case. What we actually do is we invite the client to drive as fast as they like into a sharp left or right turn. And what we do on the back end is simulate ice without telling the client. I know it catches them out a little bit, but that's the idea. And once they've spun out, we then take them back and we do the exercise very slowly with very gentle steering and no braking at all. And it proves to them that when they're driving exactly the same car in exactly the same conditions, they can actually control the car at a lot slower speed. Go on, sweet rank. Gear in. Stay off the brake. So we're going around the same bend in the same car in the same conditions. Now just stop the car. What's changed? The way the driver drove the car. Yep. Yeah? It's down to the driver. 90% of the time it's down to the driver. Yep. Once we've done that exercise, we then move on to the understeer and oversteer and explain to people what understeer and oversteer is, either at the front or the back. We then let them go a little bit further and see what it's like to actually skid in a car and what it's actually like to lose control in a car. It's all in a safe environment, all fully under control. We then take them back to the understeer and oversteer situation and then show them why the driver actually causes that, through acceleration, through braking and through steering. We then move on to our braking exercises where we try and simulate something coming out into the middle of the road. All of a sudden we're driving down the road 30 miles an hour and we brake heavily. All of these exercises are done without ABS to start with, so that we can show people what happens when a wheel locks up, whether they've got any steering or what limited steering they've got. We then move on to showing them ABS exercises using different distances.
Brilliant,
A lot better. It really is a brilliant piece of kit. Yeah, if it's used properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the distances, what we do is we get people to drive at exactly the same speed, usually 30 miles an hour, but we put them on different surfaces. So first of all, they'll be on a dry road, and then we build it up until they're on an icy road, and we show them what the braking distances are on different surfaces, which is unlike our normal training, which is done at different speeds. The first condition we simulate is just a normal dry road, so a normal car basically at 30 miles an hour. The second one is where we simulate a wet road, and what we do is drive at 30 miles an hour and see what the difference in braking distance is between a dry road and a wet road. Third one, we move people onto slushy snow with a little bit of wet ice underneath it. And again, we do this at 30 miles an hour and just see what the distance is this time in the slushy snow situation. The final one, we put people onto ice, not quite black ice, but still fairly slippery, and we see what the distance is, again travelling at 30 miles an hour. Then we go back and try it at 10 miles an hour and see what the drastic difference the reduced speed makes. So we're going to halve our speed. Let's see if we have our distance of stopping. Okay? So you're going to go back on exactly the same setting. 15 miles an hour this time. And brake. I would suggest that's less than a quarter.
Yeah.
Now, if that doesn't prove to you that if it's slippery out there to slow down, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to prove that if you slow down on ice or any conditions, you know, if it's wet, cut your speed, you're going to stop quicker. Yeah. And once we've done all those exercises, we then move back to our mini roundabout where we started, and we look at how to use ABS and traction control whilst we're actually driving. A lot of people think that ABS is for braking, when in fact it's not. It allows you to steer whilst you're braking, and traction control will help you if you're going into a bend too fast. We lost it.
Lost it.
Okay. Well, we know it's acceleration, we know it's braking, and we know it's steering. Yeah, A, B, and S.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to try something different.
Right.
As soon as it happens, just put the clutch in. The car comes back.
Comes back and
Straight back.
Straight back.
Yeah, in almost total control.
Yeah. Right.
You know, if you come out your front door and it's icy and you nearly slip up, why get into a big hunk of metal and try and drive it down a road?
Yeah, true. Hi, my name's Kevin Mogridge. I've just done the driving test in here. Great fun, learned lots of very useful tips, and I find it a real help, and hopefully we can take it into some driving when we get back onto the road, and hopefully save us having any crashes. If you'd like to find out more information about our adverse driving programme,
why not go to our website www.skidcar.co.uk